What's going on, family? So today I want to talk about stocks versus real estate, which is the better place to be right now. And right now we are April 2021. The last major crisis we had was 2008. And then you had coronavirus here in 2020, but you had so much government intervention that really didn't end up being but maybe like a month crisis. Generally speaking, you had the stock market dive and then it really shot back up, and I think we're almost 70% higher from those lows. So as we sit here in 2021, there's a lot of people flush with cash right now. Where should you put that money? And that's really what I want to talk about right now. Me personally, I think real estate is a better bet right now, but I'm going to explain why. If you look at the stock market, historically, I like to look at the PE ratios. Historically, you've got, like maybe 15 or 16 times earnings. That's what the stock is going to trade at. Right now, depending on what metrics you're looking at, you're going to have maybe 35 to 40 times the earnings. So P ratios are almost double historically what they have been, since the stock markets have been operating. And to me, that's pretty much a red flag. You have all this government money pumping in. You have interest rates being kept artificially low. But PE ratios, another thing too with the stock market, man, you have the up and down fluctuations, and I see a lot of people, and I'm so happy that I don't fall into this category anymore, but they're like clicking every morning about what's the market doing, what's it doing. With real estate, you just have this like, hey, it's you're not necessarily usually buying in quantity like that, but it's not trading on a market every day. You can generally understand what it's going to be worth, but you don't have these up and down fluctuations and the anxiety that comes with that, especially if it's like retirement monies. And back to, you just have this weird world right now where I think interest rates are going to be kept low for at least the next 1 to 2 years. And with that, I think you're just going to have a lot more money flowing in. It's like risk on right now. Where do you put money? Cash is a terrible place to be. So right now you have real estate also, if you look at it from maybe 2010. Now, if you're looking at monthly payments, it might be similar, but the prices have generally doubled or more than that, depending on which market you're in. I mean, you look at places like Austin, Texas, that are great cities, right? But the freaking real estate there is just absolutely absurd right now. So you kind of get into this, hey, if I have cash sitting on the sidelines, maybe like a rental property, or should I put that in stocks? It's kind of difficult looking at some of these major metropolitan areas because the real estate prices there are just so drastic. I was reading something today, and it's something like millennials, the average millennial salary in some of these major markets like Los Angeles or San Diego or Austin, they'd have to save for 10 years just to get the down payment. The good news is, with interest rates so low, once you get that, generally, the payment that you're making right now will be a lot easier than it has been in the past. Another thing, okay, so right now we're seeing a lot of government intervention, and depending on which camp you're in, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but somebody's gonna have to pay for this. And what I'm starting to see in the United States is rising property taxes. And this is funny because whenever I post about this stuff, nobody in the United States ever comments on it because they know it's inevitable. Property taxes are going to rise. And I think it's just kind of like, hey, look at this place, look at this place. Everybody can justify raising property taxes because everywhere else property taxes are going up. And I think municipalities, to keep up with infrastructure, with basic services, they're just going to have to keep jacking up property taxes. And unfortunately, I think that's really just going to eat into holding costs. Um, and another thing in the stock market right now, it's you're seeing a lot of people buying on margin, and that's a scary proposition, especially when you have retail investors coming in and then jumping in and buying on margin. Maybe putting down, let's say, $1,000 to buy $2,000 worth of stock, things like that. That's a very scary premise. Whereas real estate is different, because real estate, there's very few cash buyers, so it's understood to a certain extent that you're going to be financing your property. So where are we? What would you do? Well, if I'm going to go into the stock market, stock picking right now is very tricky. I think if you're going to go in the S&P, I don't think that's a bad place to be. Me personally, I haven't touched my stock portfolio from 2018, and I don't really plan on doing it. I'm not setting any more monies in there. It's on autopilot, and I'm fine with that. And I don't really look at it. I have some dividend paying stuff. I have some growth stocks. I'm just gonna hold as is. Now, in a year, 2 years, I'm definitely going to reassess that. And then you see a lot of people kind of jumping into Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies, and I'll be honest, I don't understand them. So I think there's value in holding those. As a matter of fact, I think Bitcoin, in a certain sense, has become the new gold. Gold really has underperformed, and where all this money printing and currency devaluation that's happening, generally you would have seen gold increase, but now you see a lot of that money jumping into crypto. Me personally, I'm not getting into crypto. I don't understand it, and I think I'll be fine in the long run, even if places like Bitcoin end up going 4 or 5 times their value right now. I can live with that, because I'm comfortable, and I'm not going to be rolling around in bed worrying about what the hell is going on with my investments. That's not where I want to be. So last, my recommendation, obviously I'm in real estate internationally. When you come to these markets like Cabo or the Riviera Maya in Mexico, other markets too, generally you don't have the financing options. And the good news about that is that has really kept these property prices way down. So you're not going to have these jacked up prices that you see in the States. You can buy here in Cabo, which is one of the more expensive markets in Mexico, $250,000 for a condo. I mean, if you went to an equivalent market, which there really isn't because it's so beautiful here, but let's say San Diego, Miami, places like that, you're looking 4 times that minimum. And then you have these property taxes increases. You look at places like Miami or South Florida, you've got insurance going up from all these hurricanes and whatnot. So I think international real estate is a great place to be. It's not necessarily currency diversification, because if you're buying in Cabo, it's a US dollar, but I think you're gonna see more people with the ability to work remotely. And I think they're gonna realize, like, why would you be in San Francisco, which in its own right is a great city, but it's so damn expensive, and you have all these taxes. Why not buy real estate here? I can show you numbers that we have, proven from people paying us rent in the US dollar here, and that's where we be. Right now, we have 5 properties here just in Cabo. More properties on the Riviera Maya as well, but I would love to be adding more properties. Right now, that's just where we're at. I think we'll reassess that and be getting back into buying some more properties, but we're just holding, and 4 of those are rental properties. It's a great place to be. You can Airbnb it, you can short term it, and people talk about passive income. We can manage these for you. It's not like you need to be down here. And then on top of that, it's a place you can use for vacation. So right now in 2021, where it's this game of risk on, cash just, to me, is not a very good option. But if you have cash, that's awesome. Congratulations, you are in a good position right now. Where would you put that? I would definitely tell you that international real estate, specifically the markets that I'm operating in, is a great decision. And if you have any questions or interest in that, please reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation with you, and I'll put my contact information in the show notes, my email, my website. These are great ways to get in touch with me. I'd love to start a conversation with you.